know, one of my previous videos, I talked about a couple of my favorite things, which were the pie plates. So that's when I'm putting my shallots in to transfer it over to the Dutch oven I'm going to cook in. And also for the bench scraper. So you can pick up massive amounts with that, and just I could have carried that right over to the pan, but I like to just prep everything all at once and be done with that part. And since I've got a few more things that I need to get going on. Alright, I peeled the carrots. I like a little extra, so what I did is it called for 2, but I really did 3. When I'm gonna dice them, I like to just take them and cut them in half that way. And then I like to just carefully make a small cut on the end, and that way, once again, it is solid instead of like this where it's not. So this way, when you cut a little bit off of the one end, and then you just kind of carefully hold those together. So everybody's got a little bit different way, but that's how I like to do mine. Just cut a little slice and then go through here. It just depends on how big you want your dice to be. So I'll go and finish all of those, and then what I'll do is I'll take these planks and I'll cut them like that. I'm going to puree some of the soup so they don't have to be super fine dice. You just don't want really big chunks because, you know, think about how you're eating. I have all of my planks cut into sticks, and now I'm going to turn them into a dice. So just grab however much you're comfortable with and dice away. I just, you know, keep your fingers out of the way. Probably not the fastest at it, but when you do it this way, it makes quick work. And I know you're supposed to keep your fingers back. One of the things I'd like to do is I'd love to take a butchering course for fish and meat and chicken on how to break it down, and also to do a knife skills class so that I get better, faster, and also I don't have to worry about, you know, cutting myself. I don't do that very often, but occasionally I do. Yeah, it makes me think of when I'm watching Worst Cooks in America. Ann Burrell says, slices, sticks, and dices. Guys, I know some people have kind of not sure on what this is when it calls for a clove of garlic, a bulb, a head. So anyway, this is a whole bulb or a head of garlic, the whole thing. And when it says you need cloves, that would be each individual one is a clove. And they always have this little papery skin on there. And I just take it, and once again, I throw it in the compost. And I kind of like a little extra garlic in my stuff. So this is supposed to be 2 cloves of garlic, but I'm doing 3. Shh, I'm telling you. There's a bunch of methods to getting the paper off. Some people will just peel it off. Other people will put it in a container and just shake, and the paper peels off your garlic. This is my preferred method. It's just take the cloves and put them on a flat surface and just kind of hit it with the palm of your hand or a knife, especially depending on what you're doing with it. You know, if you're just going to mince it or grate it, it really doesn't matter. If you're leaving it whole, sometimes having it broken open is not always best. But when you do that, this one I didn't get all the way, so let me do that again. So you want to do the heel of your hand, and then it starts to make that cracking sound, and it pretty much should just very easily peel away. So not as easy as some, but I'm just going to mince this, so there we go. So that wasn't too bad. If you had a ton of garlic to do, What you might want to do is just buy it peeled. So depending on, like if you were making that 40 clove chicken recipe, I think probably in this case, it would probably be best just to go ahead and buy it already peeled. So they say it's not quite as fresh when you do that. Now we're going to take and do our sweet potatoes, and we're going to do those into a dice. So once again, it's round vegetable. So you want to do a flat surface, and again, we're just going to come along here and we're going to make our planks. And just think about how you're eating this depending on how fat you want your dice. So with this, now we've got our nice planks here, and then I'll just go in and do the same thing like I did with the carrots. As I picked kale from the garden, and it will soon be going away because the aphids will be getting to it. So this is a dinosaur kale because it's all rough skinned. I can't remember what this one is. Might have been a red Russian or a blue dwarf. So it's just a different type of a kale. So anyway, this goes in the soup, and just, you don't want to use this stem because it is just not pleasant. So you just want to pull this off, and oftentimes you can just kind of strip it, and sometimes it doesn't get it all, so then I'll go back through and pull the little bits off there. But otherwise, you strip it and it comes away like that, and then once again I just throw that into the compost. So here's the curly kale, and I just kind of pull it away and do the same thing with the dinosaur stuff. And if you cook it long enough, it does soften up. So, and two, when you're making a salad, if you take your kale, because sometimes it can be very chewy, and you put some dressing on it and you just massage it with your hands, it makes it much nicer to eat. I like it either way. I'm a kale fan. I have my onions sweated in there, well, or shallots. I've got a couple of bay leaf. I've got some dried thyme. And when I was sweating my shallots, I also was sweating the carrots in there. I diced up the sweet potatoes and got some chicken broth going in there. I'm going to bring this up to a simmer, and then I'm going to let it cook for about 15 minutes. Another good thing for the pie plate is it becomes a spoon rest too. So it tries to keep your stove a little less dirty. And by the way, guys, if you don't have something like this, this is a Pampered Chef one, and you can see here, I've had it for a while. But basically, you just take and throw the cloves right in there, and then it gives it just a nice mince on there instead of doing it by hand. Kind of reminds me of the Play-Doh factory thing where you'd make the hair, you'd extrude it out. So I love this one. It's very sturdy. I would definitely give this one 5 stars for the Pampered Chef one. We're going to use an immersion blender, and you can pull out half of the soup, or a third of it or whatever to keep it chunky, or you can just give it not a heavy zhuzh here in the pan. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just so you guys can see. If you don't have an immersion blender, I highly recommend getting one of these. I think I bought this one, or John did, when I had my wisdom teeth out. I don't know how many years ago, 30, 35 years ago or more. I've got an updated version that is a little bit fancier, but I just haven't gotten accustomed to it yet. So I'm going to continue on and do this. I did pull out the bay leaf and set them aside, but I do want to show you this here. This is a combination of a spoon rest and a pot lid holder. So I love this thing, and that is my heavy Dutch oven. So you can tell that it's pretty substantial in the way that will hold pots and spoons, pot lids and spoons. We got it all blended up, and you can see just the beautiful color, and it's a little bit chunky in there still. One of the neat things about that immersion blender is that you can just run it under hot water if you do it right away, and it will just clean right up. Now we're going to take this extra healthy part and throw this right in. This is that kale that I got from the garden, and I chopped it up. This is going to have some bacon on the top as a garnish, and if you were wanting it to be a little bit heartier and more substantial, I would just put some sausage in it. Cook some sausage, and then first set it aside, and then you can sweat your onions and carrots in that grease left over from the sausage, and that would be just delicious. And if your soup is too thick, just thin it out with some more chicken broth. So we're gonna let this go here for a little bit longer till it's good and wilted. Final step is adding in some heavy cream, or half and half. I'm just gonna do almond milk though. I don't miss the half and half, and I definitely don't miss the calories. Then when you we'll stir that in, and I'll leave it set on low for just a few minutes. And when you serve it, I'm going to serve it maybe with some chives, but definitely with some bacon.